All right, everyone, welcome back from the episode of Carnivore Trade. Today is Tuesday, July 19th, 2022. If you're not done so already, give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts and analysis. There will be next month doing a live cycles course that's been long anticipated. That will be complementary to my Carnivore Essentials course, but this is going to be all just on cycles, and I'm going to be doing it live. So I will be revealing how I found the top, why we shorted the market on December 30th and 31st here. Basically top picked the market, how I called the top in Tesla, not only to the day, but to the price. NVIDIA, tops NVIDIA, a lot of other really mind-blowing stuff in that. So stay tuned for details that will be available shortly in the coming days. But anyways, let's turn our attention here to the markets. You hear the closing bell there. Markets have just closed, so what a rally here today. Yesterday we talked about, maybe a little bit more downside. We had that soft close, and we said, maybe it wants to come down and fill this gap here. Triple Q, same thing, maybe coming down and fill this gap. But we were expecting a daily chart higher low and then a move kind of like the one we got today. Well, market just said, forget that, and we're just going to go blast off without you. So we gapped above the 50 moving average on the triple Qs again today, and this time the bulls held it. So we kind of did this little micro back check here in the morning, broke the opening range, and then it was just off to the races. I mean, even the spiders here didn't even really do a back check. I mean, it was just pretty much off to the races. Take a look at the diamond here. The low was in the first 10 minutes. Russell, same thing, just blast off across the board. This triple Q is now at the highest point since June 9th on the chart, so they've erased this whole sell-off essentially. And remember, this was the panic. I mean, this was hedge funds piling into shorts. We panic gapped down twice on CPI, and that's now been negated. So markets are in pretty good shape. And I told you guys yesterday, if we get above this 50 MA on a closing basis, the buy algos will start to freak out. And they didn't even wait. We just back checked it this morning, and the buy algos just took over. So triple Q's in really good shape here. Here is resistance right now. It's going to be right about 302.42, and then of course you got that little gap fill. So we'll call it 299.40. So we'll call it 300 on the triple Qs, right in this zone. It is worth saying that the markets are a little short-term overbought here. So let's take a look at the hourly on the spiders there. Again, 371 to 392. So it's a 21-point move here on the spiders in really 4 sessions. So a pretty big move off the lows, and market is a little short-term overbought, so I wouldn't rule out some backing and filling. But take a look here, you did close above the 50 MA, so that print is, if I can get it highlighted there, 391.48, and we closed at 392.12. So if you're a stickler about it and you want to look at the actual SPX there, you can see it right there. So that is above the 50 MA on a closing basis, the E-mini as well. So if you don't like to follow the spiders, you can see it there across all time frames there. But we did get a close above that. We broke through this trend line. We got a close above that as well. Not above this pivot yet. So there is a little short-term resistance right in this area. You also have that gap window just above there, about 395, call it 395.78. And then there's your gap up there, obviously. Now, again, I wouldn't rule out some backing and filling, maybe a little bit of flagging, some pullbacking. The market's a little overbought here. So I wouldn't rule that out, but it does look pretty solid so far, and this is what you want to see. And so far so good. We talked about the summer solstice probably being a pivot. We got this pivot the weekend of the solstice, and then I said the weekend of July 4th, which was the 5th, I said I had a cycle date there. We'd put in a higher low that week. We put in a higher low that week right in this area, and we had a nice little move off the lows, and it does look like the summer rally is fully in play here. So again, I'm selling the cycles course here, with this. I mean, I've been using this all year long. I am teaching this stuff in that. So I strongly encourage you guys to check that out. But anyways, let's flip over here to the Russell. IWM, again, we talked about this trend line yesterday. Nice little pop peaking above that. Again, you got to see some follow through. Also, I wouldn't rule out some backing and filling, of course, but you got above the 50, finally got above this pivot. So Russell in pretty good shape here. Diamond into the 50 moving average as well, getting above that, still below these pivots here, but a nice move for the Dow. Take a look at Apple today, by the way. So this is a major rug pull that these guys pulled. So I said yesterday in the video, I was like, this isn't really that this news shouldn't even be bearish. The market was just kind of overbought and looking for an excuse to sell, and they really pulled the rug on bears today. Gap up, broke the opening range, and then within an hour, we had basically negated that sell-off. And we've closed above that sell-off bar. So where the sell-off started, so 151 even on Apple today. You know, still right into this double tap, but a nice price action reversing that big move to the downside. I mean, this looked poised to come down to that 140, 144 area, right in this area, maybe that 20 moving average. This looks poised based on yesterday's close. To come down there and have that get reversed so quickly is a pretty good look here for Apple and for the market in general. Let's take a look here at Netflix. So Netflix getting a bid up 216. Let's take a look. Well, this might derail my video a little bit here. Let's take a look at the, where am I looking at? Here we go. Let's take a look. Nice pop on Netflix. So interesting. NQ getting a bid after hours as well. I mean, the NASDAQ was already bidding up all day long, and having Netflix outperform now, if it can hold the gains, that's big. You know, it could turn negative. We'll take a look back in on this later. But nice pop for Netflix. It usually when stocks jump up into earnings, this was up 5% today, 5.5%. Usually when they jump up into earnings, I don't like that. I want them to kind of be flat to negative. But when you consider the big picture, this thing was $700 like 8 months ago. So this thing was, and I've been saying this to the members, you know, guys, this stock is priced for the absolute worst. So, you know, they could lay an egg and it's not going to be that bad considering how many times they've already, you know, had these big 20-30% dumps. So no surprise that they're getting a little bit of a bid here. Now, again, I don't know what the report was. I have no idea right now. I'm just reading this live. It's holding up at 212 there. So we'll check back in on that. J&J reported today as well. They did not perform. Market did not like that. So that did dump, but the market didn't really mind at all. And we're already starting to look forward to ASML tomorrow and Tesla, which will be major market movers, needless to say. Anyways, let's get back into the rest of it here. So semiconductors, nice pop again through that trend line, through the 50 MA. So, you know, we talked about that little reversal yesterday, still closed in the upper half of this bar, the previous bar from Friday. And, you know, it just didn't even, it was like it never happened today. Just blasted right through it, closed above the 50 MA, and then you filled this gap, it looks like. Yep, just barely filled that gap. And now you're into this trend line. So again, wouldn't rule out some backing and filling. All these charts kind of look very similar, all coming into kind of short-term levels here, but a nice little pop for the semis. They did fade off the highs a little bit around 2 p.m. Mitch McConnell came out and said that he wasn't going to sponsor the new chip bill unless Pelosi gave him insider tips first. So that's why the semis pulled back a little bit here. As you can see, coming off the highs a little bit. IGV up 2.89%, so nice move. Again, we talked about the weakness here. It's reclaimed some of that strength, got back above the 50 and the 20, and you're still below this red bar and this trend line, but you know, not a terrible little recovery there for IGV. We'll give it the benefit of the doubt for now as long as the rest of the market holds up. XBI, nice little reversal today. It's holding up well, it's consolidating. I wouldn't rule out another little pop here, but again, I keep telling you guys, it's not going to get, you know, this is the big wall here. It doesn't mean it can't get a little bit more upside here in the near term if the market bids, but just be aware that the upside is kind of limited. DJT, so again, yesterday we talked about this being the, you know, it was up 0.5% in a down market, and said, you know, that's showing a little bit of strength there. Let's take a look at JB Hunt. They reported today as well. Doesn't really look like we have anything going on in JB Hunt right now. We do have CSX tomorrow, I believe, and some airliners as well. But nice pop for the transports above the 50. Finally above this trend line. We've been watching this trend line for a while now. Nice symmetrical trend line, by the way. And nice little bid there for the transports coming off the lows, getting above the 50 moving average. Just, I mean, you guys can see this. It's the same chart across the board. The 50 MA is really the king in pretty much every sector. You're going to see, you know, that's equity related. But nice little bid there for the transports. Rates here kind of a nothing burger today. You know, again, 2% gain for the 10-year yield. Used to be like a market earth-shattering move, but you know, now it's really just par for the course. 30-year, same kind of deal. Not sure what that alert is for, but 1.4% gain today for the 30-year yield, so nothing crazy there. HYG, again, right up into that 50 moving average. You did close above yesterday's high, so a nice little negation of that. So this is setting up, could be setting up for a move higher, but nice little sign of strength there for HYG. And then XHB here. Again, we've been talking about this flag pattern for the last couple of weeks. It's been looking pretty good, and we got a nice pop. So a little bull flag and a nice bid. Again, I give you the upside bias to that 100 MA. There's your gap. That will be pretty stiff resistance on XHB. Just be aware of that. ITB, same kind of deal, but a little bit higher, maybe 60, 61 on the ITB. And then VNQ also getting a nice bid, stalling out, guess where? The 50 moving average, right in that area. But again, starting to potentially play out this little ABC up. If we can get follow through, then this thing can get, another little leg into that 96, 97 handle. XLF. A little bit stronger today. So yesterday I said that, I was a little worried about Bank of America. I didn't like that fade. Goldman faded a little bit. Totally reversed it today like it never happened, up 5.57. Morgan Stanley, nice bid here, 3.5. Let's take a look at JP Morgan, 2.5. So a little bit more modest on JP. Their earnings were not that good. XLF, though, did get a nice bid. Still not there to that 50 MA, which also coincides with this little pivot high here. So that's going to be your short-term level there on XLF. XBD broker-dealers, the stronger financial group here. This has resistance up here around 412. And if you get through that, this 420 area, I'm not really in love with this trend line anymore because it's not symmetrical. So, but you do have that 100 MA, so I'm going to erase that trend line. But that 100 MA will be good resistance. These are, you got these pivots here, former breakdown pivot, pivots high right up there. So that area is going to be good resistance for XBD, but I'd give it the upside bias into that area for now as long as the market, can hold up. Crude here, up 1.3, so continuing to bounce a little bit. Again, we're looking for a lower high here. Nothing's really changed with that chart. We'll see what it does when it gets to that 20 moving average. XLE, we talked about how oversold these names were, up 3%, nice bounce. I'd give that the upside bias to about 75, but you got a big sell-off bar right there. So that will be some resistance. XOP, again, same thing, 130 and change, somewhere in that area is going to be your level short term. And then OIH, obviously the weaker of the three, if it can get through this 20 MA, we'll see if it can go up there and fill that gap. That's all I really see for it at the moment, honestly. And then net gas, so stalling out at that 50 MA. We said yesterday and really last weekend that your level is going to be this trend line and that 50 MA. That's where we're stalling out. We'll see if it pulls back or if it starts to flag. If it starts to flag, maybe it has another little pop in it. Dollar index here continued to pull back. That's probably giving you some equity strength today. And a nice little pullback there on the dollar, way overbought here, down 60 basis points. We'll see if it can react off that 20 moving average. So we'll see what it gets here. If it breaks through that, then obviously your next technical level is going to be right around here, that 105.50 area. And then it's down to the 50 moving average in that 105 area if you get through that. So nothing really too new on the dollar, but a nice pullback. Gold still not doing much. It's basically flat here. GDX did get a nice bid. I like this level for GDX, by the way. I am long GDX, full disclosure. But the miners are, we noted yesterday, the miners are doing a little bit better here. SILJ up 1.5. Where spot silver was down, gold was flat. So the miners are showing a little bit of leadership. Could be a bullish indicator moving forward. We'll have to, let the market tell us a little bit more. Platinum getting a little bit of a bid up into that 20 moving average. Still some resistance here short term, but I don't see any problems right now. Palladium, kind of a nothing burger today, and copper, really just kind of an inside red day. This is just so weird. It's amazing how weak it is, to be completely honest. Like, this should have bounced by now. And it will bounce, and it's going to bounce ferociously, but man, it just continues to be weak here. And what can you say? It's getting beaten up right now. So that's kind of, the market is worried about recession, and obviously that's reflective in these prices. Anyways, on to Bitcoin. So I unfortunately, I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, after I did the video yesterday, Ether had a really big bid. Got all the way up. It was up 17% by the end of the day yesterday. Got above this red bar high, so nice pop for Ether. I think we talked about this in the live stream last night, in the members only live stream. I'm not sure, but nice bid on Ether either way. I will give it the upside bias now to 1,700, and if you can get through that, I wouldn't rule out 2,000. So nice move there for Ether. We talked about this inside bar. If you close above this candle, that's very, 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 very bullish here near term for crypto. Now that doesn't mean it's gonna, go to the moon, but that would be I'd give it the upside to about 2,000. That would be a nice look. I mean, we still have several days left in the week, so there's room for it to reverse. And it's interesting, Ether is bidding better than Bitcoin now. But again, Bitcoin, same kind of thing. It's got a lot more work to go to get above that red bar, but it did get a nice little pop. Again, look, oh, it's into the 50 moving average. Big surprise. So right at that level, but again, here you go. So we got that. We have a potential right now to close above this red bar breakdown. If we can do that, Bitcoin, I would give that the upside bias up into that 26.5 area. Maybe, if it really gets up there, it can get in that 28.50 area. So crypto shaping up a lot better. Again, we talked about the higher lows being kind of like the one positive there. And hey, sometimes that's all you need, but nice little move there for crypto. And again, looks to be participating finally in sort of this kind of relief rally in the indices. Again, overall, let's take a look back at Flix. Yeah, so holding on to 215. So let's take a look here. That would take you all the way up here. So right into this breakdown area. So nice move for Flix, and when you have such a surge on the, that was kind of what I was worried about today is, wow, the market's surging ahead of Netflix, like are they going to sell the news? Are they going to pull the rug? They pulled the rug on the bears today with the move up. Now they're going to pull the rug on the bulls with the Netflix earnings. But looks like the bulls are winning here. So triple Q's up about 50, 60 cents after hours. Spiders up, yeah, about 60, 50 cents after hours as well. And Q getting a nice bid. So this does look good. Now, the only thing is this does kind of set the bar a little bit higher for Tesla and ASML. So just be aware of that. Again, this could coincide with, like I was saying, short term, we're a little overbought. So, even if Tesla does really well on earnings, maybe the market pulls back anywhere, just kind of, sneezes at it a little bit. We'll see what ASML does. But again, nice reaction for Netflix and some much needed relief, honestly. I mean, this market was just clinging, desperate for any sort of good news. And the fact that Netflix didn't sell off another 20% is good news for the market, especially that it's up nicely after hours. Anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.